I know we can do this together because I know this. There's nothing beyond our capacity.
Here we are. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind Show. I'm John, your host with the most. This is the Prepared Mind channel where we talk about shit hitting the fan. This episode, good news, SHTF news. I tell you, it has been a hell of a ride with you guys. And guess what? No, I'm not retiring. We're going to continue marching down this road, folks. It is hard work. It's a lot of work, and I enjoy it, though. I really enjoy coming here talking to you guys because you make it worth it. Good golly, I tell you, there is so much that has happened since my Zero Dark 30 message this morning. Oh, by the way, it didn't get the usual intro and outro because I was in a no-cell zone as I drove on in to the zone. Anyways, that happens, it just depends on what zone I'm in and stuff like that. But a couple people noticed that I'm not in the green tank. Right. That is not the beloved green F-350. It is a company car. And the model, well, it's a Nunya LX GT 350. I can't tell you guys what I'm doing. I mean, it's not fair for me to say, mysterious stuff, but let me just put it this way. I can tell you the absolute truth. I am under contract to work for contractors to ensure that other contracts get fulfilled. And if they don't, it's my responsibility to fulfill that contract. You take a guess as to what kind of contracting I do. All righty. I've got so much crap that has happened today. Some of it's good, some of it's not. But we're going to talk about it all. I'm just going to go down the line. I'm not going to hunt and choose and pick and try and pick the best ones. I'm going to give you the shotgun approach. I'm going to give you the Joe Biden shotgun. You got a burglar? You got someone harassing you? You go outside with a shotgun, put off a couple blasts in the air, bam, bam. Right? Get yourself a shotgun. You don't need an AR. Unbelievable, folks. And to just follow that Biden-esque idiocy. And thank you, Mr. T, for the great intros and promos and hotspots. Great job, man. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how Uman does it or Jolene or anyone else. I just know that if I keep doing this, people wake the hell up. Now, folks, there's been a lot of confusion for many years over what it is to be retarded. Well, guess what, folks? The Democrats have met the threshold of mental retardation. It has been met. And many would say exceeded. Now get this. The southern states that are sending illegal immigrants to northern Democrat cities, they sent 50 illegals to Martha's Vineyard. That's right, folks. Martha's Vineyard is a hoity-toity, ritzy, rich place up in the D.C. zone. Right, where everyone gets to feel so important and special and whatever. So they said, hey, if you jackasses up there want to do that, well, we're going to send illegal immigrants there. Now, guess what? 50, that's 50. 50 illegals are dropped off there, and it's being called a humanitarian crisis. But over 4 million illegal immigrants crossing our secure border, according to the Biden administration, Kamala Harris, Karine Jean-Pierre, the idiot who also meets the threshold. They call that a secure border down on the southern border. But, 4 million, but 50 illegal immigrants, they call it a humanitarian crisis. Folks, that is literally 0.00005% of the 4 million plus. 50 is that many zeros with a 0.5. Just infinitesimally small, but the rest of the country has to accept all their shit. Again, shotgun approach, let's go. Let's go. Additionally, today, Kamala Harris at her Washington, D.C. residence as the vice president, guess what? She had a busload of illegals dropped off in her front yard on her lawn. Pow. Reporters ask her for comments, and she ignores the reporter about illegals being dumped at her house. How do you like that shit, camel toes? Right? And the illegals, they did have comment. They did talk to the reporter and said, yeah, we've been told down in Mexico that the border's open. Come on up. They're being told that. Way to go, Biden. Good job, Biden. Good job. Well, can he top that? Can the man who has met the threshold for mental retardation? Well, if he's not that, I guess he must be suffering from extreme, acute, severe dementia. Well, maybe both. The Inspector General says over $1.3 billion in cerveza bug relief went not to Americans, but foreign applicants. Folks, I can't get a fucking break at the gas pump, at the supermarket. I can't get a break on anything. If I want a benefit from the government, I've got to beg for it, and then they deny me. White privilege denied, right? Pay your taxes, John. Shut the fuck up. You don't get nothing. But if you're a foreigner, $1.3 billion gets sent to foreigners, folks. It's exasperating. If I had my way this Saturday, I'd be down in Florida. I'd find crispy bacon. I'd go to the beach and get sauced at some beach bar, listening to beach music, probably Jimmy Buffett style. If only life was that good. Man. Well, I said this is good news, SHTF news, so I'm going to give you a piece of good news now. In Delaware, a judge has ruled that vote by mail is unconstitutional. I've been waiting all day to say that. Unconstitutional. So I can kind of sound like dumbass Biden. And whenever I use the word retard, people go, you can't say retard. No. When it applies, retarded means slower than average. Retarded, set back, not capable of average work. Yeah, I think the Democrats have met the threshold and in some cases exceeded it. On the other end of the spectrum, Governor DeSantis of Florida kicks ass, period. Well, no, exclamation point, not a question mark. And I can help him out. Ready, Mr. DeSantis. Fuck the Democrats. Here's his quote, though. Quote, their virtue signaling is a fraud. The dude, Governor DeSantis, I met a Floridian the other day who I am doing a contract for. And he just was raving about his governor from Florida. He wouldn't, well, he had to go back and, continue to do his duties. But while on break, smoking a real cigarette, folks, a coffin nail, a cancer stick, a cigarette, right? Stuffed with tobacco and a little shitty filter. And he's smoking that fucking cigarette like he meant it. It was some good stuff, right? Anyways, Governor Ron DeSantis is just going after these virtue signaling elites, right, who are whining and sniveling, right, about illegal aliens being sent to Martha's Vineyard, right? Virtue signaling fraud. Beautiful, brilliant. We need more governors like that guy. I wish I had Governor DeSantis as my governor. And, sometimes, folks, dreams can come true. Now, good news, SHTF news. I don't know which one this is. Whistleblower. A whistleblower comes out. And it's great because we're having dozens and dozens and dozens of whistleblowers in the FBI and different government agencies coming out and going, we've had enough of this corrupt bullshit out of the ABC government, federal government agencies. Done with them. Good. Keep coming out of the woodwork, right? Rats leaving the ship. Now, and I meant that. Whistleblower says the FBI has labeled a veteran-led organization as a domestic terror group. Not Antifa, not BLM, not the NFAC, not the new Black Panthers, not the old Black Panthers, because there's still some old ones out there. No, an American veteran-led organization. And there's lots of them. Now, here's the real deal, folks. Is this good news or SHTF news? It's both. It's good that a whistleblower came out, but it's bad because it shows that federal law enforcement agencies have real fear. Their fear is real and it stinks. You can smell it on them. Because they, folks, the federal agencies, whether it's the ATF or the FBI or the DHS or the CIA or the IRS, they are the domestic enemies, not us, not you. They are the domestic enemies, and they know it, and they're fearful that they're going to lose their jobs, lose their pension, and maybe get thrown in jail because they have violated their oaths, and they are the ones who are acting like terrorists, terrorizing people using Gestapo techniques, using KGB techniques. They're the neo-Stasi Nazis. I tell you, folks, when you make it through the day on vodka and M&Ms, you're doing good. I'm on a rant. I'm on a tear. Keep going, John. Let's do it. I'm going right down the line, folks. No picking and choosing. Just right down the fucking line. Putin tells Xi Jinping that the United States government is pushing for a unipolar world and it's turning ugly. I got some powerful quotes here, folks. This is Putin and Xi and another half dozen countries, like 8 of them got together. It's like the BRICS 8 got together, had a meeting to talk about their side of the world. Now, agreeing with Putin's longtime theme, this unipolar world effort, also known as the New World Order, the Liberal World Order, the World Economic Forum, etc., Illuminati. Agreeing with Putin's longtime theme of the unilaterally controlled unipolar world that's falling apart, President Xi Jinping, Chinese Communist Party, said this. But he said it in Chinese. I'm giving you the English translation. He said, in the face of the colossal changes taking place on a global scale in our time, which are unprecedented in history, we are ready together with our Russian colleagues to show an example of a responsible world power and to play a leading role in bringing such a rapidly changing world onto a trajectory of sustainable and positive development. That was all one sentence, folks. All one sentence. Now, what's amazing to me is that this guy was able to get it out there, belt all that out. That's a lot of information, folks. There's a lot of accusations in there as well. In the face of the colossal changes taking place on a global scale, that would be what's happening to the American and the European economies, and of course, all the associated economies, and also militarily, watching the American military crumble, the non-existent European military shit itself, and the actions in Ukraine play out. Now, continuing, he says, we are ready with our Russian colleagues to show an example of a responsible world power. If you buy that, you're out of your fucking mind. They're not responsible, but they are going to make an unprecedented historical move. That is to say, an economic, social, military move on the world. Not necessarily World War III with bombs, rockets, ships, and nuclear weapons, but it's certainly going to be a big shift in who controls the world and what military power is the one to be feared most. Because they're going to play a leading role in bringing about a rapidly changing world. Indeed. Now, when they say sustainable, that's interesting. And when they say it's a positive development, I guess it depends on whether or not you get bent over and rammed, or whether you're the one benefiting from such good news, bad news. Interesting. And speaking of this, good news, bad news, Mike Lindell, I got bad news for you, right? The FBI seized his phone. Now, here's his powerful quote. Oh, by the way, I'm doing my 30-minute monologue, and you guys get to put your questions down below, email them to Jolene, what have you. This is incredible, folks. Just what a great show. Good news, bad news. Good news, SHTF news. Mike Lindell's quote, the government weaponized the FBI, trying to scare me, trying to scare other people, but it didn't change a thing. This is Gestapo in Nazi Germany. This is what we're up against. Mike Lindell said that, folks. Mr. My Pillow himself. He continues, it didn't rattle me. I'm not going to unsee what I have seen. Folks, this is what I have to say. Don't be afraid of these scum. Don't be afraid of the scum called FBI or by any other name and under claimed and color of authority. We need to stop being afraid of them. We are a free people at birth, receiving rights from God Almighty and owing nothing to a faceless government. Government is not alive. It is not alive. It's not a being. Government is a false idol if you worship it, if you work for it. So you owe nothing to a faceless, soulless government, nor its agents who are servants and no more. Every FBI agent, every government employee is a servant and no more. Fear not, people, we all die. One way or another, we all die. We serve ourselves and one another by fighting for liberty, folks, and refusing tyranny, its blood slavery desire. That's how I feel about this shit. If I am free and I fight for freedom, I serve my fellow man. If I succumb and give up and accept tyranny and the slavery that comes with it, not only do I condemn myself, but I am doing a disservice to my fellow man. That's why I'm in this chair. That's why I come to you in the, well, not quite so glamorous bunker. But it sustains me, folks. I don't need a lot to live. I am a minimalist, and I've been that way for a long time now. I left a palatial bunker. I left that lifestyle and am here now with you guys. Let's keep going. Folks, Alan Dershowitz. That's right, one of O.J. Simpson's lawyers. Alan Dershowitz, who in my opinion is a marginal American legal expert. Alan Dershowitz, who I consider to be basically a Democrat, but I don't know what he identifies as. But Alan Dershowitz on the FBI raids of Biden's political opponents. That would be Trump and others who are being raided and having their property taken from them, like Mike Lindell, like Peter Navarro, right? Like all of the Americans who are being harassed. This is what Alan Dershowitz says. Quote, it's left-wing McCarthyism, and it's more dangerous than right-wing McCarthyism. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Now, McCarthyism being the anti-communist movement that occurred after World War II when anti-communism hit America hard. Because why? Well, in the 1940s, there was a coup attempt by the communists to infiltrate America. And there was a coup attempt also, folks, that was real. A serious coup against the president that was fascist. The fascism in Germany wasn't alone, and neither was the communism in Soviet Russia. Now, what makes this more dangerous now, as it's left-wing socialist McCarthyism, is because, well, back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, right-wing, or rather conservative Americans loved their country and still accepted that everybody had their fundamental rights as enumerated in the Bill of Rights in the United States Constitution, reinforced with the Declaration of Independence. Never forget that declaration. So while we did not like communists during McCarthy's era, we accepted the fact that they have rights, as opposed, or rather juxtaposed, to today's world, where the Democrat socialist scumbags in D.C., in their various bureaucratic agencies like the FBI, the IRS, the DHS, they have no compunction in violating your rights. In fact, they hate your rights, and they want to destroy all rights. And they will violate, and they do oppose, and they're full of hatred and venom for our rights. And they're more than willing to act with any government authority that they can use an excuse to come after us. So that's why, and I do agree with this marginal American legal expert, Alan Dershowitz, I do believe that left-wing McCarthyism is more dangerous than right-wing McCarthyism, because the left-wingers are willing, capable, and actually begging to violate our rights and just run over the top of the Constitution. Very scary. Very scary. Now I'm going to switch gears on you. I'm running out of time in my 30 minutes, and I've been ranting and going through the news, and I don't care. I'm going to rant some more. Shocking. Stunning. Really, John? A study has revealed that cerveza bug, that the Jim Jones juice causes organ rejection amongst transplant recipients. How interesting is that? If you've taken the Jim Jones juice, it causes organ rejection. If you try and get an organ transplant, that is, you need a liver, try and get a liver, they put the liver in you, guess what? It rejects that organ. Why? Because you've got foreign RNA. You got foreign genetic material that is injected in your body and changes what you are. You're still you. Your memories are kind of still the same, but you're having your body reprogrammed because you took some shit. And if you took the shit, you better pray you got some sort of placebo and not the real juice. Folks, let's continue. Oh, I don't want to stop now. I don't want to stop. This is too good. Now I'm going to pick and choose. Oh, shit. Okay. Let's play Take a Wild Guess for $1 billion, Alex. Mysterious increase in deaths are being seen across Europe. Well, there's a fucking surprise. It's across the whole planet. But the news is coming out, folks. A mysterious increase in deaths. Let's take a wild fucking guess what caused that. Oh, geez, I don't know. I can't figure that out. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. Let's play it again. The new normal, my ass, folks. Let's play Take a Wild Guess. Kids in New York, the state of New York, are now being shown commercials saying that children with myocarditis, well, there's an awareness commercial telling kids what it's about. How did that happen? For the first time in world history, it's now so prevalent, kids getting myocarditis, that is enlarged heart. Why? Why are their hearts getting enlarged? Let me give you one guess. Ready? Okay, this is how this works. The heart is enlarged. The heart is a muscle. Okay, now if I do curls with this arm right here, okay, this arm, right? If I do curls with it, it gets bigger because it has to work harder And so the more I have to work, right? Let me do my Arnold. Right? The more you work that muscle, the bigger it gets. The heart is the same way. If it is having to push blood past a bunch of clots to get it to circulate in the body, it's working harder. The muscle gets bigger out of defense to defend the body, to feed the body the blood supply it needs. In other words, I wonder if there's freaking clots in all these kids. Unbelievable. Take a wild fucking guess. Tell me I'm wrong. Okay. You gotta calm down before I pop a freaking blood vessel, right? There's so much to go over here, right? So much to go over. Let's play. I had one more. Take a wild guess. And you get a selection this time. Common or clotted? Those are your choices. Let's play. Let's take a wild fucking guess. Caught on camera, a royal guard faints and does a face plant during the vigil that was held at the Queen's coffin in London. Now, I do know that occasionally the royal guards will faint and fall on their face. You see, if you keep your knees locked too long, blood pools in the legs, you don't have enough pressure, and you pass out. You pass out and take a little nap because you didn't have enough circulation going on, and your brain runs out of oxygen, you pass out. Well, they're trained not to do that. They're trained to slowly keep their knees unlocked and bend a little and keep that blood circulating so they can appear to stand there in their baggy pants, burdensome coats, and those big fuzzy fucking hats that make them look like they're 10 feet tall. Yeah. They're trained so that that doesn't happen. So take a wild guess. Was that a common occurrence? Or was he clotted? I tell you, folks. Okay. I mean, I'm not shitting you. I've got 24 more, 24 more stories, and we're almost out of time. Here we go. This is a big bam. Socialists have been tossed out, folks, on their ears. The patriots in Sweden. They're calling them right-wing Swedes. Holy cow. I wonder if any of them are related to this right-wing Swede. Socialist scum declare resistance, right? They're resisting the fact that they've lost power in Sweden. So I have a question for these socialist scumbags. If you just had an election and you lost, should you really be questioning those election results? I think it's unbelievable that in a country as socialist as Sweden is, that the socialists have lost in the voting. Now, here's what gets me. Sweden did not lock down their country. They said, we're going to do the herd immunity thing. They had no worse results, and in many ways, much better results getting through cerveza bug, which wasn't that deadly. And they're so pissed off at their elected officials that they're ousting them. How could it be that in America, where we're even more pissed off at our officials for being a bunch of assholes, right? You don't want to wear your mask, I'm going to lock you down more. I'm going to mandate shit against you, right? All of the shit we've been putting up with from the likes of Gretchen, the Grinch, Whitmore, and Beetlejuice, and Innes, and Gavin, and de Blasio, de Bozo, Cumho, not to mention Cumhala, and dipshit Biden, and the rest of them demanding that people put on masks and stay locked up and mask your children and get the Jim Jones juice and then get the juice boosters, even though none of it's proven. Oh, what they're proving, folks, is that shit's dangerous. It is, folks. Oh, let's do this again. I just can't get enough of this shit. Let's play Take a Wild Guess. Another Canadian, folks, an athlete and also a doctor. Guess what? He died. He died during a cycling event due to, you guessed it, cardiac arrest, a heart attack. Can you imagine that? A doctor who should know all about health doesn't realize that within his own body, it's getting completely jacked up. So his heart pumping as hard as it can, probably suffering from pericarditis and and myocarditis, even though that's an assumption that me as a layman shouldn't be allowed to even think about, but I do. This fucker dies of a heart attack. His heart just goes, fuck it, I quit. Ah! Right? Unbelievable. 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 I can't stop, folks. I could do this every day, and I'm going to do it again. Are you ready? Let's play Take a Wild Guess. Yes, again. Thursday doesn't get any credit. You got, oh man, it's Monday. You got Taco Tuesday. You got Hump Day Wednesday. You got Friday. What Thursday doesn't get any love? Take a Guess Thursday. Get this time, folks. A 17-year-old athlete dies due to heart attack or blood clot while practicing in sports. Another 17-year-old athlete dies of a fucking heart attack. Are you convinced yet that there's a fucking problem, America? I mean, I'm talking to the choir here. I mean, you and I know. We know. We know. I mean, look at this smiling snapperhead right here in the corner, sitting on a porch, enjoying a cup of coffee in a prepared mind mug. Right? You would think that he's living the high life. Well, down south, folks, that guy is right there. He's in the South somewhere, and he likes to enjoy a nice cup of coffee. This guy here does not have the Jim Jones juice or the juice boosters coursing through his veins, fucking his life up. How many people took it because they were threatened, because they were coerced? Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. And by the way, the assassination attempt against Putin is real. And what I suppose is the assassination attempt against Zelensky just happened to be that he got in an automobile accident the day after Putin's assassin tried killing him with a car. Tit for tat, or just a strange coincidence. Yeah, I love freaking coincidences. I do. I love coincidences. I also like logic, reason, critical thinking. So let's see if the Democrats have that on their side. Democrat Hank Johnson, folks. This is the same. Oh, yeah, here comes the word, right? Mentally retarded person. Hank Johnson, congressman. You guessed it, Democrat. This is the guy who said that the U.S. military on the island of Guam, if they put too much tanks and weapons on one side, the island could flip. He actually said that. His concern was the island flipping over. He actually said that in Congress to a military general who had a hard time keeping a straight face. That's the same idiot, mentally retarded person, Hank Johnson. Now he is alleging that parents, folks, are like January 6th protesters when they go to school board meetings. Ooh, insurrectionists. Oh my God, revolutionaries. Parents descending? Parents going to school boards to air their grievances. That was covered in the Declaration of Independence, right? To redress the government, your grievances. In other words, to bitch at the government, you're supposed to be allowed to do that. You're supposed to be able to complain however loudly or softly you wish. But now, anytime you air your grievances, whether loudly or not, you're considered a January 6th protester. That is to say, a domestic terrorist involved, instigating, promoting terrorism and insurrection. Folks, these people are mentally retarded. That's the good news. The SHTF news is they're mentally retarded. They're slow. They're incapable of learning. They come to bad conclusions. Folks, they're turning into zombies. Sorry about that, Jolene. I was in the wrong message chat room, so we're good now. Folks, okay, look. I've had a lot of fun ranting. I swear, I've still got, good golly, No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 more stories. I want to get to your comments. Otherwise, I could be here all fucking night. And I'm not even spending a lot of time on these topics. That's all, folks. No, I'm barely spending any time, and I still have 25 more. And by morning, it's going to be off the charts again. Let's do this. Let's get to the Q&A.
Are you ready?
Oh, man. Okay, Jolene, let's just get right to it. David says, if DeSantis can send them, meaning illegal violators of the law, immigrants, if he can send them to Martha's Vineyard, he can send them back to Mexico. Get that he's trolling, but it doesn't solve the problem. I get it, Dave. You can send them back to the border, and it's kind of like pouring water into a flour sifter. You pour the water into the flour sifter and it runs right through. You go back to the border. You tell the illegal immigrants, get across the border to your own country. They go across the border and then they just go right under the fence. The same way water goes right through a flour sifter. There's nothing and nobody stopping them, man. They come across the border and the government, the federal government, hands them money, a credit card, a plane ticket, bus ticket, and sends them right back into the country. So, I mean, I get it. But the problem isn't going to be solved by just shoving water through a flour sifter. By shoving them over the border, they just come right back in. So making a political point, demonstrating to the world what a bunch of hypocrites, virtue signaling liars these people are in D.C. by putting them on Kamala's lawn, beautiful. How many times did we say when Nancy Pants, that stupid bitch, 90 Proof Nancy, wanted to stop Trump from building the wall? And everyone said, fine, let's just put illegals on her lawn. Oh, wait, Nancy has a fence and a wall to keep people off of her prime estate. We were like, let's tear down that wall, Nancy. And how would she like them living in her property, her house? Right? Well, that point that was a joke back then has become a reality. Sending these people to Delaware, to Chicago, to New York City, to Washington, D.C., to Martha's Vineyard, putting them on the lawn. They ought to dump them right in front of the White House and say, here's your illegals, Mr. Jackass President, because pushing them back over the border, Dave, just isn't working either. We've been trying that, and it doesn't work. What needs to happen is the federal government needs to do its constitutionally mandated motherfucking job, and that is protect our border, control the border, own the border, keep illegals out. You only come in if you have a travel visa or a green card. Get in line, go figure out how to do that, and then come to our country and respect our laws and stop living out of the wallets of the American people who pay their taxes but don't want to pay for illegals. Unbelievable. I get your point, though, man. I get it, brother. Moving on. Jolene, what do we have next? Sally Sue. John, it seems that one of the quickest ways to unite a nation is to introduce a common enemy. Do they want us divided or united? Do you believe the war will be between fellow Americans, or are we heading to World War III? The war is to be fought between fellow Americans. Partisan conflict. The Russians will not invade this country unless invited by Washington, D.C. And even then, Americans will go, hey, I don't think so, Jack. This is America, and we got guns, and we'll fight back. Nothing would unite this country more than if Russians or some other communists like China decided to step foot on this soil and think that they're going to take it. The way they're going to defeat us, folks, is by dividing and pitting American against American. That's how you defeat America. Or at least, right, get them to fight each other and destroy each other. But we always need to remember that we were put in this fighting situation, put into this ring, if you will, kind of like a boxing ring. We were picked by the Democrats, by the rhinos, by the World Economic Forum, so that we would fight against each other. And they have been virtue signaling the left and convincing them that normal, traditional, just normal Americans are evil. That law-abiding, tax-paying, culturally normative Americans are evil and bad. And so these fucking idiots, they're mentally retarded too. They think that being trans, LGBTQ is normal and that we should hate America because at some point there was a slave somewhere running around. It's just unfucking believable. Great question, great topic. Here it comes, folks. Partisan conflict, if you will. Muho is back with a question. Said, would a lights off for a year event create certain Mad Max situation? Yes. Lights off for a week will cause Mad Max. Did we not have civilized society before electricity? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Your thoughts on the transition and what is what sequence and for who? They can't afford. This is how I approach this. If we lose electricity, if we lose power for an extended period of time, we will have Mad Max. Because people will lose refrigeration, their food will go bad, the stores won't have food, nothing will be the same. There'll be no traffic lights. There'll be no gas being delivered to gas stations and pumped out of gas tanks into people's vehicles. It just won't exist. People won't be able to travel, food won't be able to be delivered. And what happens when people get hungry is they become scared and violent. Scared and violent. Everything would be destroyed and burned. The American cities would be husks, burned out husks of civilization. And the powers that be, the uber wealthy, they want control of everything and they love the value that's in it. Remember, they want to own everything and you own nothing. They want to own everything. You own nothing and you'll be happy about it. They want us as slave tenants in their cities. That's what they want. So they can't afford to lose their precious buildings, houses, suburbs, because they can't make money off of it. They can't own it if it's garbage. They don't want to own garbage. Yeah, they can't afford that. If people are enslaved and tortured and exposed to full-time Mad Max, then the rich people, folks, they'll be hunted too. And they may end up on a freaking barbecue. Great question, great comment. We're going to continue to go down these roads and think about these topics. Think about these topics. All right, Jolene, what do we have next? We got Vincent Boyle from Belfast, Ireland. And he says, John, I just wanted to say thanks for your efforts. You have made a vast difference in our lives. Wifey and I thank you. Please tell the wifey I say hello and semper fi to you both, and God bless you for living over there in Ireland. I hope you have a delicious fish and chips dinner with a fine Guinness beer or some Irish whiskey, if you will. Anyways, I love you all, folks. If you're a decent, honorable human being, I don't give a shit what your religion is or your country. If you respect the rights of others and you're willing to fight and die for what is right, rather than live as a slave, as a peasant, as a pissant. Whew! I'm full of piss and vinegar tonight, speaking of piss. Hey, let's move on if we shall. Thank you, Vincent. We got East Texas Country Boy. He says, today, J.P. Morgan has warned America. Something worse than a recession is headed to us. Ray Dalio, Michael Burry, Peter Schiff, all are sounding the alarms. I guess it'll be here just in time for the Civil War. It'll be here just in time for the election. It's going to be here just in time for the Great Reset. I tell you, East Texas country boy, this is bothersome. Now, I've been sounding the alarm for economic hard times. I called it a recession years ago. Even during the Trump years, I said, this is all, how would I describe it? It's all artificially supported. Artificially supported. Our economy is artificially supported by money being pumped into the system, QE, quantitative easing, banks buying up debt. Even during the Trump years, folks, as good as things were, it was fake. We were having problems back then. As soon as they stop pumping the money into the system, it all crashes. And what do they want? They want the system to crash. Who's more than willing to do that? Herr Biden, right? The Fuhrer, Biden. He wants it to crash. Well, guess what? He's going to get his wish. The system's going to crash, folks. How far, how hard, how fast? Put on your seatbelt. It's going to be a hell of a ride. When does it start? It's already started. When does it get bad? Isn't it fucking bad enough yet? And how much worse can it get? Oh, it can get a whole lot worse. Remember, in Europe, they're paying 20 times higher electricity. That'd be like us going from $2 a gallon gas 2 years ago to $40 for a gallon of gas. That's the equivalence in gallons of gas, folks. 20 times higher? That's right. 2 times 20 is 40. Imagine paying $40 for a gallon of gas. Europeans are paying that kind of increase on their electricity. Guess what else is going to go up to astounding levels? Food and other manufactured goods. In fact, in Europe, they're shutting down factories left and right because they can't afford the electricity. They can't afford it, and they know if they make a bunch of stuff and then try selling it at hugely increased cost, no one will buy it. So why even make it? So why have employees? Fuck it, let's close our factory. Great reset. I hope you've got lots of rice, lots of beans, lots of dried corn. I hope you've got a lot of wheat. I hope you've got a lot of flour. I hope you've got a lot of canned tomatoes, tomato sauce, tomato paste. I hope you have a lot of spices to make things taste good. I hope you have a lot of Spam, a lot of tuna fish, a lot of canned meats. I hope you have a lot of dried potatoes because it's going to get nasty. It's going to get difficult. All right, Jolene, let's move on. What do we got next? We got Doc Holliday. He says, are you getting ripped off at Walmart and Target? Check your receipts. I tell you what. He's going to continue. Mark one of the items with the price that it's supposed to be before you go to the register so you know if it rings up incorrectly. I don't shop at Walmart or Target. I boycott those pricks. Most of the shit they sell is Chinese garbage. And stuff that's American, they screw over American businesses. Fuck Target. Fuck Walmart. Fuck Dick's Sporting Goods. Screw Coca-Cola and the rest of the gang that wants to screw us over and go woke. Target selling a bunch of tranny panties. They sell what? Elastic panties that are so tight so these Fruit Loops can do a weenie tuck and have it be as flat as a vagina. And they want boobs to bras to smash girls' boobies into oblivion. I guess that works for women with B cups and smaller. But what about D's? I mean, can you really make them just disappear? I don't have boobs. I can't tell you. I don't know. Just a question. But they want girls to be able to hide their gender. They want boys to be able to mash their gender to pieces. You know what? Have at it. Smash away. Use drugs to screw your bodies up, kids. Just fuck yourselves over, right? Cripple yourself by ruining the transition and puberty that your body naturally gets to. It only does it one time in your life. You don't just come off those drugs and everything's normal again. Now, being 6'7" at my peak, imagine if I took gender bender drugs when I was 12, 13, 14. Well, I would probably been only 6 foot tall. Who knows? Maybe even under 6. Right? I wouldn't be the behemoth a junta that I am at 6'6" now, would I, at my age? Now, my voice would probably sound like Mickey Mouse. Gee, Mickey. Gee, Pluto. Fucking weirdos. These kids have been traumatized by their parents, by school teachers. They've been encouraged by Mickey Mouse and the rest of the gang on TV. Walt Disney's rolling over in his grave because Disney World, folks, Disney Corporation, is now putting all of this gender bender bullshit, woke crap, and pushing, folks, the rainbow agenda, trying to normalize it. It's not normal. But they want it to be normal. Well, if the new normal is cutting your own dick off, I guess they can have all they want. Take yourselves out of the gene pool, you bunch of tards. Have at it. That'll leave the rest of us with, well, shall we say, pure blood genetics and our genitals in place and intact and operational. You guys can take all the Jim Jones juice you want. You can get all the juice boosters you want. You can get all of the fake hormones you want. You can get all the surgeries to alter the way you look all you want. And when you realize that it's too late, you can go fuck yourself. Because no one else will. You'll probably have a heart attack doing it, you bunch of idiots. Yes, mentally retarded. All right, let's move on if we shall. I love satire. I love it. I love being sardonic. I love being a cynic. And I love being right. I was right before. I was right 10 years ago. And I'm right today. And so are you. You see what the fuck is going on. And this has been nearly an hour rant. I went from ranting with my information to ranting with yours. Let's see who's next. I think it was Heidi. Let me wet my whistle, Heidi. And thank you again, Heidi, for giving a shit. Heidi communicates with me on the backside, folks. She's another one of those people that's managed to work her way into my life and my heart and communicate with me. Thank you, Heidi. She says this, and Heidi is also in possession of a autographed shirt that's covered in John Sweat from, I almost said the place, the RMZ. Anyways, Heidi, Heidi's a winner. She says, aren't we going to run out of energy eventually? Anyway, we will still end up in a pre-electric society. Heidi, I wish you could participate in some of the conversations that I have with Crispy Bacon. What I can recommend to people, if you want to know where the world of energy is going, the topic is nuclear energy. The technology is small modular reactors and advanced reactors. Speakers on it would be on YouTube, Uranium Insider and Rick Rule. Any of his videos, Rick Rule, R-U-L-E, Rick Rule, and anytime he talks about uranium. I've been listening to Rick for probably going on 4 or 5 years regarding the need for nuclear energy and uranium. Uranium is green. It can be mined by drilling holes in the ground, pumping in soda water, and dissolving the uranium in the ground, and pumping it out, and then separating the uranium from the water. Uranium, these new reactors, when fabricated into fuel, is incredibly efficient and produces a massive amount of electricity. And the safety mechanisms on these new small modular reactors, these new advanced reactors, whether they're light water or the other types of fuel, MOX fuel and others, they're incredibly efficient. And nuclear waste, that is spent fuel rods, can actually be utilized and further burned, if you want to use that expression. It creates no appreciable waste. That is, no radiation is released into the air as a result of this fission process. It's contained, and it creates massive amounts of heat. The heat boils water, or heats a coolant, if you want to call it a coolant, that transfers the heat to water, that creates incredible pressure, that spins a turbine, creates electricity, and a lot of it. Right? We're used to thinking in terms of megawatts. A nuclear power plant creates gigawatts of power. Right? You know what a megabyte is, and we know what a gigabyte is. The new small modular reactors can fit on a single city block and produce a gigawatt of power, and not have to have anyone in the neighborhood worry about a meltdown because they are fail-safe in these new designs. Nuclear energy can create, folks, using electricity, it can create hydrogen out of the water by separating the oxygen from the hydrogen, which can be used as fuel. And I've demonstrated its use by burning hydrogen with my diesel fuel to increase my fuel economy. You can run an engine off of pure hydrogen. It just has to be engineered to properly run it. Bob Lazar, yes, that UFO guy from Nevada. Bob Lazar has been running his Corvette. And the model he has is the Barbie Vet, right? The C4 Corvette. He's been running his off of hydrogen since the 80s. So apparently engines can handle running on hydrogen. I'm just not going to do it until they say. Anyways, the point is we can create fuel by creating nuclear energy, and we can create electricity by creating nuclear energy. Nuclear energy, it's now in a renaissance. Nuclear energy is in a renaissance. Companies, or rather countries that were getting rid of it. Germany was down to its last 3. They suspended canceling this year, keeping them open and opening up their others. Japan is fast tracking, opening up every single nuclear reactor they have. Every last one of them they're firing up. America has just under 100 nuclear power plants. China in the next 10 years will have another 150 on top of what they already have. Little nations like, folks, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Romania, Bulgaria, they're building nuclear power plants right now. England is going to build 6 to 12 in the next 10 years. There is a huge renaissance to create power. Unfortunately, the fucking idiots in government all around the world, folks. This is the SHTF news. They let the entire world get into an energy crisis before realizing they have one solution, one answer. Yes, there's lots of oil out there. And we're never going to get rid of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels. It's oil. Some people claim it's abiotic. Some people say, well, there's minimal reserves, and even though the earth creates it, it's not fossil fuels. It's not dinosaur juice. We're burning it at a rate faster than the earth produces it for our consumption. So we need to change. In the meantime, idiot politicians are like, everyone go out and get EVs. There's a problem. They don't have battery storage for storing the power to put EVs in everyone's garage. So we're going to end up with some sort of hybrid. To me, what makes the most sense, understanding this energy problem, and I've been studying it with Crispy Bacon for years now, vehicles, your conveyance, your car, your truck, will likely be a hybrid that runs off of hydrogen and also has some sort of battery. All right. Forgive me. I just got a message. Folks, we've got problems, but there are solutions. I am an answer guy. I'm a solution guy. Politicians are good at creating problems. They've created too many. We've got huge SHTF. My problem with the problem creators is their solutions are us forfeiting, sacrificing our rights and ourselves for their benefit. Okay. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Godspeed, Semper Fi. And I'll be back with you, 0 dark 30 in the morning. Until then, right? Chance favors the prepared mind. Godspeed, Semper Fi.